What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube. And today I've got another edition of The Drive-In where I watch recently released films and tell you guys whether they're worth watching, worth waiting for, or worth skipping altogether. Today I'm doing one, first time back in a while, got a new phone. Old phone was full of memory, wouldn't record anymore, so I'm back after quite a break. But I'm talking about one that I was excited to see the trailer when it came out. It just recently dropped on Shudder probably a few months back. It was a hit in, I believe, like Sundance or some different popular horror festivals back in 2025, but it officially released here stateside in 2026 and is now on Shudder. Talking about 2026's Dolly. This is I'm going to do a spoiler free. It's still fairly new on Shudder, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But it right away, it tells you via trailer that it's kind of a 70s style shot version of what a Texas Chainsaw Massacre slasher is. So I saw that, saw the intriguing trailer, and saw some of the cast that was in this, and figured it was time to check this one out. So here we go, spoiler free, talking about Dolly. This was written by Rod Blackhurst and Brandon Weevil, and directed by Blackhurst, and I've never seen anything they have done. I think this is one of their first features. They've done a few shorts and videos and things, but this is their first kind of feature. This film stars Fabienne Therese as Macy, Sean William Scott as Chase, and Max the Impaler as Dolly. Now, this cast is pretty interesting because right away, I did not know Fabienne Therese, but I think she really shines in this role. She plays a good kind of main character, final girl energy kind of character. And she definitely stood out to me in terms of the acting. It was good overall, but I think she was the best one as she goes through trauma and gets isolated in this film. Sean William Scott, obviously, we know as Stifler from American Pie. Max the Impaler is pretty interesting because they are a professional wrestler who's done some things in TNA and spent a lot of time in NWA as Max the Impaler. So they went right into this role as the titular Dolly character, who's kind of your big bad slasher. And they did a very good job with their economy of body movement and their build and using their body in this role. First things first for me, the 70s grain in this is great. You see it in both the trailer and the movie. This movie is really meant to be an homage to things like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Mother's Day, Last House on the Left, even like Wrong Turn later on in the 2000s. But this is really meant to be a 70s backwoods slasher homage. And the style of shooting, and especially the film grain and the way the cinematography looks, the lighting, the LUTs, everything they use here has that 70s classic feel to it. They did a good job of really paying homage to that Chainsaw Massacre style in a nice way. The look is very nostalgic and brings you right into the environment in a positive way. The next thing is killer design. I like the killer design a lot. The look overall of Dolly, kind of the mask, the stature, the costume of Dolly is wonderful. It is a classic take on a new slasher. Same thing goes for kind of the dolls that are used as kind of accoutrements in this. Dolly's dolls all are well designed and creepy. I think dolls are a popular subgenre in horror for a reason. They're one that I personally enjoy, and I think the way they dressed up these dolls and painted made everything looks really, really vibrant while also being drained of color at the same time with that 70s grain. Love the look of these guys. Basically, the pros of this film, without giving anything away, is that a couple goes on a hiking vacation to get away from things, kind of a tough life they're going through right now. And Sean William Scott's character Chase wants to propose to Macy and get engaged to her, and things go awry. They come across a patch of dolls, and they now fall prey to Dolly, and that's kind of all I can say without giving it away. But aside from the 70s look and LUTs and grain and killer design, I like the gore in this. When they decide to go with gore and they decide to take it and go in the bloody direction, they do a wonderful job with it. They sometimes don't go as far as I would like them to go, and I'll get into that later. But I think when they do choose gore in this film, and they do choose to show some violence, easy for me to say, they do a great job with it. I think that again is part of the 70s thing: is how much do you want to show, and how much do you want to leave to the imagination. Famous older films didn't show a lot of blood. They just showed you a shot of something and let you figure out what it was. It goes back to Psycho in the shower scene too. You see a little blood, you see a little thrust of violence, but you don't really know what the impact of the damage is. And they do both in this film, but when they choose to show gore, they do a nice job with it. good tension on chases. When they do kind of chase scenes and they do kind of cat and mouse and survivor trying to survive and use the elements to get around the killer and the killer in pursuit, they do those things very well. There's well shot chase scenes. It's frenetic at times. It's stabilized at times. They use the environment they're in, which is a nice location, the house of Dolly and the family. It's a really nice location, and it encloses you in a nice way, and it leads to some good chase scenes where the survivor tries to outwit the killer and vice versa, using their environment to their advantage or disadvantage. I like that a lot. Getting into a few negatives here. Number one, backstory. We don't really ever get a fully fleshed out version of what Dolly is or why Dolly is who they are. And they sort of allude to certain things. They sort of show some things as far as flashbacks go, but it's more so just creepy inserts. It's not really a full-fledged flashback. This seems to be set up for a sequel to me, and there are some things in the credits that I would say stick around for. Post credits and during credits, I would say watch along if you want to keep following the story. But backstory wise, they don't touch on nearly enough. They start to explore minor things that are well shot and well done, but they don't ever get into a backstory of exactly why this is happening. It's just another 70s, 80s slasher where it's just a killer that you have to avoid, and that's the way it is. Here's the universe already set up, and here we go. And they never get into why. And as a writer and as someone who loves stories and loves lore behind killers, I hope they get into this more in the sequel because I like what's there, but I want a lot more. The things they set up nicely, but they don't ever delve into the why of things, and I want the why. So if you're someone who wants the why and wants a really creative story as to why things are the way they are, you're not going to get that here. Decisions. Some of these characters make really poor decisions. From Sean William Scott to even as awesome as Fabian Therese was, some of these character decisions that are written for them are very, very terrible. And that's not an actor choice. That's a writing and directing choice. They have these actors go into some really obvious don't do that kind of things where you're screaming at your screen going, why aren't you paying attention? Why are you doing the obviously dumb tropey thing? And they do those things in this movie a couple times. So writing and direction on some of these bad choices is a negative for me. Then we get into never quite gets there. This movie could really delve into a nasty place, and I don't think it ever really gets there. If you're going to do a modern day Chainsaw Massacre kind of movie, you really want to go where the other movies don't go. And one of the things that Chainsaw Massacre became scary for was not going all the way in, but giving you the inclination that worse things were happening. Now in 2026, you kind of have to go there. We are a gore-thirsty, bloodlust audience who has seen so many other films. And if you're going to try and be one of these backwoods family kind of Mother's Day Chainsaw Massacre movies, you really want to go further and do more to add more to the movie than the previous ones have. And this one doesn't do that. I just, for example, watched Match on Tubi. It's a Tubi original. I might have covered it on the channel or covered it on pophorror.com. I'm not sure. But you really want to get into some nasty stuff, and Match does that. Match goes pretty far and makes you cringe and look away and go, oh, they're really going to show that. But this one doesn't really do that. There's one scene that starts to go into a really perverted kind of a nasty place, and it doesn't fully dive in. It starts there and you go, oh, they're going to get weird, and it doesn't fully get weird. And as somebody who's seen a billion of these movies, I want to see new things and weird things and different things. Even if I have to look away and go, oh, that's gross, at least they took a risk and went for something new and tried to build on something that already exists. And this film doesn't quite ever get there. That being said, it's a fun time. If you like backwoods slashers, you're going to like the look of Dolly. You're going to like the chase scenes. You're going to like the gore when they go there. You're going to enjoy this movie. If you want a simple kind of a backwoods slasher and you like things like the movies I've been talking about during this review, you're going to like this movie. If you want something fresh and new and different that dares to go in a different direction and fleshes out a brand new backstory, this ain't going to be for you. I give this one a 6 out of 10 myself. It only runs for an hour and 23 minutes, and that's with credits. And it's on Shudder right now. So if you've got Shudder, it's free to watch. It only runs an hour and 23, so it's paced well, and it's not a long watch. And if you like these kind of movies, you'll like it. If you want more story, you're not going to like it. But I give it a 6 out of 10, and I put it kind of at the low end of my 2026 horror films, like somewhere around the 8th best movie so far this year that I've seen. But there's enough there to make me want to come back for a sequel. So I recommend you guys watch it and stick along with it. If you want to see more reviews of mine, I do written reviews as well on pophorror.com, pop horror, one word, pophorror.com. I just covered This Is Not a Test, a 2026 zombie film starring Olivia Holt. So if you want to see that, go check out pophorror.com. And if you want to see more movie reviews via video from me, I've got a new phone now so I can do that again. Tell me in the comments down below what you think I should review on this channel. Please follow along, like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys real soon. Take care and stay scared.